I spend probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours a day looking into the technical pieces of where we fit, the different personas of where we fit, the customers, the use cases, why people are leveraging Snowflake, and how we're absolutely just disrupting the game of big data and cloud data warehousing. And I make sure that the message is conveyed 100% in that same manner.
I'm OG, y'all new to the game.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? New segmentation of what I'm doing here. It's called Tell 'em Thursday, where I bring someone who's been through a public workshop or a training specifically for their company and just sharing, hey, what did they get out of it? And then also things that at the end of the day, hey, look, some other stuff that they're doing in their role that's leading to success. So with that being said, I got Jordan here from Snowflake. And, tell us a little bit more about yourself before we dive into the questions here, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jordan, I've been at Snowflake for about 6-7 months now. Before this, I was in the U.S. Air Force. I did that for 6 years, all across Texas, Germany, did a tour in the Middle East, and I was working as a customer success type role with medical equipment and devices, and then started getting into like Lean Six Sigma methodologies, process improvement, and data, which eventually led to my transition from the military to Snowflake, where now I'm working with data at a business-to-business model, and it's been phenomenal.
Awesome, man. And let's first start, just with the training here. And what were like the top three takeaways that you took from the training?
For sure. Number one, keep dialing.
Yeah. Yep.
Step one, right? I think one of the big things is, obviously it's a multi-touch approach, but the emphasis on dialing and dialing effectively, being more concise with my pitch. Initially, when I started, I would be like, hey, this is Jordan from Snowflake, and just spew. And
yeah.
a minute later, it's like the other person hasn't said anything. It's almost a wasted conversation. I've already lost their attention. So really dialing down to like a 15-second heavy hitter, just, hey, giving you a call because this is why, this is the purpose, be quick, be brilliant, be gone, right? And that's been a huge thing. Another thing I'd say is the importance of saving the ammunition, kind of coming back to being concise. I initially would send emails that were like essays, and you write this brilliant email, you spend all this time on it, and you're like, wow, this is a masterpiece, and then they never open it.
And you're just like, what the heck?
Where do I go from here, right? So I think really dialing down to specific value props in multi-touches has been another big thing that was really helpful. And then the last thing, the death of a salesman, right? Finding ways to be different, be unique, be personal, and just treat the other person as a person, kind of coming into differentiating yourself and zigging while everyone else is zagging in this world we live in of automation and AI. There's another person behind that computer screen, and having the mindset of like, I'm here to help you, or I'm here to work together and collaborate, definitely has been helpful for me. Another, like the LinkedIn, to talk about something tangible, LinkedIn social media touches, just going through and something as simple as commenting on an article that has nothing to do with what I do and giving some valuable insight actually has led to getting a lot of meetings in that sense by just building a rapport, jab, and then hook, right?
Absolutely. And Gary Vee, right? Jab, right hook is massive. And I always tell people, really actually focus on that because you're gonna get a lot out of it. And really goes into like the next question that I have here is, you mentioned, hey, you were in the military background, you were going to different bases, and now you end up in the tech industry as an SDR role. So how did the training as a whole help you transition into that SDR role and be effective?
Yeah, definitely. So I started prepping pretty heavily for sales about 6 months to a year out. I did a lot of self-development, a lot of reading, and that's where I stumbled on SDR Chronicles, JBarrows Training, and all that stuff. And I think coming into this role, I had a really differentiated set of hard skills that you're not going to see in your typical SDR. Those hard skills, when mixed with the training and the information I was able to take in from the JBarrows and SDR Chronicles, helped me kind of spark some creativity and give me ways that I could put those hard skills into tangible, effective actions. it helped me put a process together, which was phenomenal. Things like focusing on case studies once a week, powerful introductions, not, hey, how are you? Hey, this is Jordan. We've never spoken before. Hey, this is Jordan. Do you have a moment to talk? Hey, this is Jordan. How have you been? Right? Something as simple as that, giving me a little bit more confidence coming into it to jump on the phones, setting up prep and time for prospecting into accounts. Huge. I spend probably about 4 or 5 hours a week just diving into mapping out accounts and getting a better understanding of how we can actually fit to support their objectives. It's kind of like, to me, there's the analogy of like a car salesman, right? Where let's say I go to the car lot to buy a Prius and I show up and the car salesman has no idea why I'm there. They don't know I want a Prius because it's conservative, good on gas, X, Y, Z. And I show up to the car lot and the car salesman says, hey, you look like a Porsche guy. Let me buy this Porsche for you, right? It's beautiful, so fast, all the bells and whistles, but they have no idea why I'm there because they haven't even asked a question, done any research, and it's wasted effort, right? And I see a lot of SDRs be the Porsche salesman versus really getting an understanding of the customer, of the prospect, and how we can help them. So I'd say some tangible things, the prospecting into accounts and actually putting time and effort in that, very valuable. And it all comes back to, the jab hook as well, providing value and insight along the way.
Absolutely. And the follow-up to that, right, is you added all these different things to your process. Any impact results since the training has happened that you've seen, like, hey, like I've been able to increase this, or hey, I've been able to do a lot of stuff here?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say, it's tough to say that any of my successes have been like directly contributed to the training 100%, but I'd say there's definitely a portion of it, right? Coming back to what I said about like having the confidence, having the skill sets to, in my second week, typically for us, you do a couple weeks of training and onboarding. And my second week, I started telling my manager, like, hey, I just want to get on the phones because I'm not going to learn by watching YouTube videos. I'm not going to learn by reading all these things, like I'm going to learn by taking all of this information I've gained and all these skills and training that I've been doing my own research and self-development on and putting it into action. That plus, I mean, we have a great self-development team. I have amazing mentors at Snowflake who internally have been able to catapult my success and the success of the teams I work with. So as far as results, ultimately it's led to my personal success as being a top performing SDR.
Awesome. And let's hear about like how you've done those steps to get to a top performing SDR. So really, if you've seen Snowflake guys, if you understand where they're coming from, targeting very technical buyers, CTOs, architects, product leaders. So how are you seeing success in reaching out to these technical buyers, especially as an SDR, when that's a very hard buyer to reach out to?
Yeah. Initially it was like drinking water out of a fire hose because it's such a technical product, and I thought I could just dive into it and keep going and figure out as much as I could about the product. And then I realized I don't have a master's in computer science. I'm not a computer engineering major at all. This isn't really my realm, but as much technical acumen as I could bring in to get an understanding of what their language is and how I can actually fit and support them, that's been awesome. Snowflake's such a disruptive product that it's also very regionally, it's going to be based on your region, how effective you can be as well, because there's certain markets where there's an aspect of crossing the chasm. And it's definitely a multi-channel approach, reaching out to these different people and personas. Some people, they may like the phone. Some people may be on LinkedIn. Some people may be on emails. I couldn't say that there's like a specific persona that answers more. It's all multi-channel, right? And I found a lot of success in conveying a consolidated message across whatever platform it is and understanding their pains, providing a solution to those in the form of some type of credible use case or future state, and then working to, depending on where they are in the technology lifecycle, either challenge and educate them to show them that there is a better way, or just if they already know, collaborating with them to enable Snowflake to fill those requirement gaps.
No, I think those are great use cases and best practices on how you can do that. And with these content and these emails and these phone calls that you're doing, how are you making sure that you're not being too pushy, but direct enough to get these meetings?
Yeah, that's kind of the name of our game, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but you don't obviously want to go too hard, and then obviously you're in trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely nobody, I don't think it really matters what market you're in. Nobody wants to be pushed too much. You know, nobody wants to deal with that annoying sales rep. I think for me, ultimately, it comes down to just understanding their needs. Big piece of it, like I said, regionally, with the aspect of understanding where they are and like what the message I need to convey is. If there's coaching, or if it's more of just a collaboration, where in more mature markets, it might be a little bit more passive. In less mature markets, there's definitely an aspect of, hey, like, you don't get it, I understand, let's work together to help push through this and show you the better way. And sometimes that takes a little bit of extra effort. I think for me, ultimately, it kind of comes down to like why you now prospecting, and really emphasizing that, hey, I know we should talk, this is why we should talk, and when can we talk.
For sure.
It really is important to me that I'm not just reaching out to everybody and just hitting wherever I can. I'm reaching out to you with a purpose. I'm reaching out to you because I understand your business. I am reaching out to you because based on a similar success with another company, I know we can fit to support your objectives. Let's talk about this and explore further. I'm not in the mindset of, hey, I'm just trying to set junk meetings nonstop, hit wherever I can and just spray and pray. To me, I'm working with purpose. People are people. So I try to treat every single person as a person. If it's not good timing, there's no budget, they're already in a contract with a competitor, whatever it is, I'm a person. I think one thing I took away from the training is, you know, whenever you do get those objections, get clarification on that. Not like, oh, when would be better timing? It's more of the nature of like, hey, can you clarify for me, or can you help me understand? I'm trying to not be that annoying sales rep. How can we work together on this? What is the big reason here? Why? So that way when the timing is better, or that way when there is budget, we can be in sync to move forward together, right? And I mean, that's a huge thing that was picked up both by the training I did with you and also the workshop I did with John. Getting clarification and working with people, right? How to really figure out why we can't talk.
And the proper next steps, so that you're actually guiding them in a sales process and you're not being pushing the sales process, which is those two different things. It's pushing for your agenda or pushing on their agenda. If it's their agenda, it's like, this is what you told me. So we've clarified this together. If I'm pushing to push, then it's my agenda. And then now you're like, don't talk to me, which kind of goes into my next piece. What have you done in your role today as an SDR, and as you move forward into the next role, to understand the language of these technical buyers? Because it's different than the ones, obviously, of a marketing and sales leader. You got to know it a little bit more. Like you said, you don't have an MBA, but you still got to know it to be knowledgeable. So what steps did you take to make sure that you understood that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the big thing is like having the mindset of always being a student. And coming in with the mindset of, this product is technical, and sure, you can sit around and rely on a solutions engineer, but that whole entire conversation with the solutions engineer and whoever the technical buyer is on their end, if you don't understand what they're talking about, you're kind of irrelevant. And you can't jump in with valuable insight, or you can't jump in with a valuable objection handle or any type of conversation if you don't understand. So things I've been doing, a lot of research. I spend probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours a day looking into the technical pieces of where we fit, the different personas of where we fit, the customers, the use cases, why people are leveraging Snowflake, and how we're absolutely just disrupting the game of big data and cloud data warehousing. And I make sure that the message is conveyed 100% in that same manner. Technical buyers, I'm going to convey a message of how we can collaborate for your technical specific objectives. Business buyers, I'm talking positive business outcomes. It's not, obviously there's going to be positive business outcomes with a technical buyer, but a CTO is going to care more about improved revenue and growing their decision-making time and things of that nature, versus someone who's a product developer who might care more about building a platform on top of Snowflake with better customer-facing dashboards and faster analytics and getting a consolidated view of all their data so they can improve that platform, right? So the great thing with Snowflake is like, we're able to work with so many different types of personas and so well with both technical and business buyers that you got to have an understanding of the technical piece, but the business piece is equally important. So you got to just do the research, right?
Absolutely. Definitely got to do the research. And Jordan, I appreciate you hopping on and this segmentation of Tell Them Thursday and giving some insights, especially within the technical space, which people always ask me questions around that. So it's good to hear from someone who's actually in the trenches and doing this. And as we wrap up here, I always like to say, hey, real quick, is there a shout out that you want to give? Any lasting tips that you want to give the audience today before we get out of here?
Yeah, definitely. I came into this game 6, 7 months ago, and I've been really successful. And I've been really successful for a couple reasons. And I think ultimately it comes down to grind. That's one of the biggest things. I see a lot of SDRs come in, and it's always, they're concerned with pay. They're concerned with me. Let me get my meetings. Sales director, this is a good meeting, right? They don't emphasize the team. They don't emphasize their development first and foremost. And for me, I come from a sports background, the military, team first, 100%. So putting my head to the grindstone and just absolutely getting after it every day, trying to be the first one in, the last one out. As an SDR, understand your role is to support pipeline and generate revenue for the team. Your role is to develop and become a better sales rep. You're not going to be a millionaire as an SDR. Like, just understand that. But if you have a good understanding of the big picture and where you fit, show up, grind, learn, do whatever you can to help out the team. And when you go all in for the team instead of you, it's amazing what you can collaborate to accomplish.
Absolutely. And those are great lasting words that we can have here. Jordan, appreciate you hopping on. And as I always say, guys, keep dialing. I'll see you guys soon.